Hello and welcome to Paper Plays Julie K.
Welcome back, everyone. I am here today and I'm continuing to work on my start to finish journal that I'm doing. And when I left off yesterday with you guys, I believe I was going to sew on a couple of things. So I did finish adding this little element that I sewed on, and I still need to do something else there. And then I also covered up, I had a couple little oopses with my ink pad. So I covered it up by adding a little tab right here. And then that other little applique. And then while I was doing it, I still had a little bit more of this material that we had used for that pocket. So I went ahead and added a tab on the back side of that German paper. So that was kind of where we left off, and I'll zoom in a little bit so we can continue to work on it. Again, if you're just tuning in for the first time, welcome. I will let you guys know that I'm kind of someone who jumps around when I'm creating my journals, so there isn't, you know, a complete step-by-step for what I do each time in a particular order. And this time around, I've already created the cover for the most part. There's still some more decorating to do on it. And right now I'm just adding elements to my pages, and then I'll probably go in and add the actual tags and journal cards and stuff like that. So I believe a couple of days ago we added that bingo card, and I didn't do anything with it. So I grabbed some supplies to start working on this little bingo flip here. And again, for those who are just tuning in, I'll sew in my pages later. I want to keep them open right now in case I want to sew anything. And so this is what we did a couple of days ago, just this little flip here. And so I had the little butterfly picked out that came off of a doily that I had cut out that I wanted to put up there, but I wanted a little bit extra, something added to it. And I had a couple ideas. For sure I want to put this little eyelash trim behind it. I think that looks really cute, and that might be all I'm going to do. I debated about adding, you know, a little bit of lace behind it, and I could do that. Let me see real quick if I have anything in this really huge snippet pile here that would work for under there. Just a little, you know, I had some curtains that I had cut up for something, and I kept the little remnants. I could maybe do that one and trim it down. I also have some tulle in here. Oh, here's a kind of a little piece. Let's see what that looks like. I think I like the little scalloped on that one, so we'll just cut off that top part and we'll make that work. So hopefully everyone's doing well. It's kind of a cooler day today here in Minnesota. I was gonna be up crafting sooner than I started today. My husband, I think he's out on the lake fishing, ice fishing. That's what he likes to do. This time of year we don't really have a lot of work to do. We've finished our paperwork for the season, so it's kind of nice. It's, you know, kind of like a little mini vacation at home, so I don't have a lot going on. The only things that we really have going on for work is my husband's just kind of shoring up contracts for next year for us to do. Again, I kind of help him with wildlife surveys and do paperwork and stuff for the data that he collects. So it's kind of nice. We're hoping to maybe go to Florida for a few weeks in another couple months here. So that'll be nice, just to get away from the cold. Just trying to see where I left off with all my glues and stuff, and it looks like I kind of made a mistake yesterday when I was gluing. I have a cup that I, you know, hold it open, but I forgot to put my cover on for this glue, so I don't know if it dried out or not. So that wasn't good of me. I think I must have been in a rush or something when I left yesterday. Yeah, I was excited about these bingo cards. A couple of months ago, my husband and I kind of went on a drive, and when we are in that area, there's a couple little like thrift stores that I like to visit, but then I also talked him into, we drove by another little small town that had like a whole like strip of antique stores, so I did talk him into stopping for a few minutes, and in one of those stores I did find these bingo cards, so I was kind of excited about that. I have a few that are similar color to this one that actually have like the Coca-Cola emblem in the middle. It must have been some sort of advertising bingo game, but I don't have very many of them left. I've given a lot of them out in Happy Mail, so I was happy to get some more of these kind of vintage colored bingo cards. I like these ones that are kind of the cream color along with the black writing on them. Once in a while I come across some, you know, semi-vintage ones at the thrift store, but they have colors on them, and I have picked up a few of them, but I think that'll hold there. And then let's see, I think I want to add some sort of lace or trim to the bottom, and I hadn't really picked out a specific one, but I have this one sitting here, and I think that one might look kind of nice. Trying to decide how much of it I want to put on there. If I just want, you know, maybe just a couple, just 2 of them. I think I'm going to go all the way across with just 3 of them. So this one at the end's kind of falling apart, so we'll save that just for something else. Yeah, we'll just do 3. And I'm just going to use the tacky glue if it'll come out. Trying to decide if there's a front and a back side to this. Yeah, I kind of like that, and I can still, you know, add another layer of lace over that or something if I want to. But that should still keep it so that it still opens. And so I had a couple of thoughts for the inside. And of course now I'm not going to be able to, my desk is so messy right now. I was thinking, I have this little punch out that came from some scrapbooking thing. It says choose to be grateful. Because I was either going to maybe stamp something on here or add a little extra something. And so I was thinking that might look kind of nice. And then I was thinking also that, you know, maybe right here I might just put another one of these little rulers. That was one of the scrapbooking papers I used on one of my pages. I was thinking just to add a little more interest, maybe I would add, you know, that on here, just on this side. And then the only other thought that I had was, I feel like I need a little bit more interest. I thought either I could maybe rip up and glue down some music paper, just some like ripped up sheets, or I could stencil a little bit. And so I might stencil on this one, and maybe I'll add a little bit of the music paper to that page. So I have this stencil right here. It's a Prima one. And I just picked it up recently. My mom and her neighbor Joanne, which Joanne is always kind of nice. She gives me a lot of stuff. She's been cleaning her house, and so she's been giving me a lot of her linens and doilies and old lace trams that she's had that she picked up when she lived in like Italy. So I'm using Vintage Photo Distress ink. But anyways, we went to a little store, and I was able to find the stencil at the store. There's a little store that, and they sold some, it was kind of a repurposed store where people, you know, decorate boxes and remake things. And then they also had a little bit of antique stuff there. And they were selling some paint from one of the chalk paint companies, but they also had some Prima stencils, and I didn't have this one in my stash. So I kind of like that. That's nice. And so let's go ahead and glue this one down. Just want to see where we need to cut off a little bit here. I do have to say I'm having a lot of fun with this journal. You know, even though when I'm up in my cabin doing other stuff, chores and other things that we work on, I've been thinking about what else I can add and what else I can dig out from my stash. I think one of the main reasons why I'm having fun with this journal is that I'm mixing and matching companies and scrapbooking paper and just really going through my stash and just using what I have. I'm not trying to, you know, print off a lot of new things or do anything like that. I'm just using what's already currently in my stash. So it's been kind of fun just revisiting, looking at, you know, different drawers and clear envelopes full of ephemera pieces just to see if there's something that I can use in the journal. So I think I like that. You know, down the road I could add, if I wanted to add more, I could add some sort of little, you know, something up at the top, but I don't think I need to do that. So I'm going to grab some music paper real quick. So it wasn't too far from my desk. I guess I had these strips. Recently I had like a little folding Christmas tag thing that I did on my YouTube channel, and I have extra music paper that I cut down for that, so we might as well tear into these instead of tearing into a brand new sheet. I'm just looking for one that has lots of music notes on it. So to start with, I'm just going to tear off an edge and make it you know, sometimes it's just kind of fun to add just a little bit of music, you know, onto your page. Hopefully I've been somewhat on camera here. Sometimes I get so busy looking at what I'm doing that I forget to peek up to make sure that I'm still in frame. So I am going to ink the edges on these. Yeah, before I was going to come up to the craft room, I looked outside and we have, you know, wildlife in our yard quite a bit. And there was deer in our yard, so my husband went out and fed them, so then I had to wait until they were done eating before I walked up here to play in the craft room, and then he went out and started fishing. In a few minutes, I just got to go peek at him. It's still kind of early in the season, so even though the ice is pretty thick, he fishes where I can see him out my window. So I'll probably go peek at him just to make sure he's doing okay, that I can still see him out there fishing. So yeah, I think I like that. I'm going to get some glue here to glue these down. I'm going to use some matte medium just so that they stay down. And so then I'll have to set that aside to let it dry, because I'm going to use this to glue it down, matte medium. And I just find this works better. It's kind of like, it'd be similar product to Mod Podge that everybody uses, but what I don't like about the Mod Podge is that when you live in climates that can be kind of humid at certain times of year, if for some reason your pages don't fully dry, that I've had like altered books get ruined because when it's closed and it's humid, they attach to each other. So I do pay a little bit more to use this matte medium. It's kind of something that like artists use. And I find that it works well. I use it a lot for napkins, if you're into putting napkins or tissue paper on tags. And this one is matte, so it won't dry clear. So that's nice. I mean, it dries clear, but it doesn't dry glossy. And then maybe once it dries, maybe I'll like do a rubber stamp over it of like some script writing or something to add a little bit more interest to the page. And since I'm using the Tim Holtz Distress ink, you can kind of see that since the glue is wet, it's interacting a little bit with the inked edges. So it's kind of actually bringing some of the brown outside of the teared paper or torn paper. So I kind of like that. So I'm going to set that aside to dry for a few minutes. And since I have this matte medium out, there was something else I thought I was going to do. So we might as well do that now. I just have to move everything. This is one of those times when I wish I had like a really huge desk with lots of open space on it to be able to spread everything out. But I was thinking, so when I was going through things, I have some flashcards. And I was thinking it would be fun to add some tissue paper to it. And so this is some tissue paper that I got on some Happy Mail. And I've used bits and pieces of it for, you know, putting onto journal cards and tags and stuff. And so I'm thinking that I want to put part of this on there. I just got to figure out which little sector I want. If I want it this part of the writing up here. Yeah, I kind of like that. So let's do that sector. And then, well, if I have enough glue left over that matte medium, I'll maybe grab a shipping tag and just I don't know if I'll end up using that part of it in the journal, but sometimes when I have the matte medium out, if, you know, and I'm doing one thing, I might do a couple other little things. So I think I'm going to glue it on and then I'll rip it off after it dries, the edges. If that makes sense. And then, like I said, we'll probably do some sort of other collaging over this, but I just wanted to add this little bit to it. This matte medium also works really good if you can use it kind of as a top coat on something too. Like if you're doing like masterboards with just paper and you just want like a protective coat over the whole thing. That works really good. This works really good also for masterboards too. But I like it for the tissue paper and napkins. This will make, you know, I'll probably do something on the back or just leave it. A nice little journal card. I know these are I think flashcards are kind of fun to put into journals. You can still, if you use it for journaling, like when I've used them in my journals, I still write like around the numbers and sometimes I write lists, that kind of thing. I'm more of a list journal person where I like to just write lists or, you know, important thoughts or things I want to remember. And then after I've glued down the one layer, I go over it one more time with the matte medium. So I'm going to set that aside, and I still have a little bit of glue left, so might as well find some shipping tags to... So I don't know if you guys are the same when you have, like, even if I pull out like white gesso or paint or something, and if I have a little bit left, I repaint something else. I you know, I like to organize in my craft room, and so I like to decorate my wood boxes that I find. And so like even if like I start one box and I have paint left over, I'll start painting the next box even if I only get part of it painted, because I just don't like wasting paint or glue. So I try and come up with something. Even like if I spill something in my craft room, like ink or something like that too, I'll find shipping tags and just dunk them in the ink. Or if I spill my tea or coffee or something, I do the same thing. I guess I'm not a coffee drinker, but if I'm in the house and somebody's visiting that drinks coffee and they spill a little bit, I use paper to clean up the mess, because you never know if you can use it later on. And like I said, I might end up using 1 or 2 of these in this journal. I don't know, but I might as well take advantage of having the extra matte medium sitting here. If I would have had some napkins close by, I maybe would have glued down some napkins, but trying to think, and then my head, I might, after this, I'm done filming today, I might have to look to see if I have any napkins that would work in this journal or not. I think most of mine are very shabby chic looking, or I have some Christmas ones too, but I don't think that's quite what I want to do, so I'm just curious, for those of you guys that are watching today, if there's any particular projects you're working on, what kind of things you have going on in your craft desk. I always like to hear what other people are working on, what kind of fun projects. Usually this time of year I do some sort of like winter themed project, and I have some ideas, but I don't think I'm going to get to it, because this was kind of on the top of my head that I really wanted to work on. But usually I do some sort of winter theme project. I know the other year I really liked, I made a like a stackable envelope. Then I used items from Tailor Made Journal. She had that Winter's Tale kit, and I just love those. I have that set. I still have it in my craft room. I have it sitting out. I haven't been able to gift it to anybody because I just loved how it turned out so much that it was too hard to give it away. So it's sitting out for decor, I guess, in my craft room. But I am thinking, you know, this year I don't think I'm going to get to it, but I'm thinking maybe next year, maybe I'll make another like winter themed journal. I've been looking a lot lately on Etsy at some of the different kits. You know, I do have that one that I got from Tailor Made Journals, the Winter's Tale one. And I think I have a kit maybe from Calico Collage and also from Artie Mays too, a winter's one. But I've been looking at some different ones that I'm kind of interested in, so I might pick up some of those if the couple companies I'm looking at, if any of them go on sale for next year. Like I said, I don't think I'm going to get to it this year. I have too many other projects in the hopper that I want to do, but definitely need to do that next year for one of my crafty to-do things. I still have enough glue, so I'll have to do one more. Hopefully you guys aren't too bored with this. I actually might have enough to do 2, so let's see here. We'll just glue both of those at the same time if there's enough here. So I'm also curious if you guys are all, like, when you guys make your stuff, if you're like mass produce, if you do a lot of mass producing, or if you just kind of run with, you know, 1 or 2 things when you're working on journals, or if you mass produce, even if you don't have any journals in the works. I kind of do a little bit of both. You know, sometimes it's like if I'm really in the mood to make a certain thing, I might mass produce and make quite a few, and then other times I like to just make just specifically for the journal. Sometimes I find though that when I mass produce stuff that I don't don't use it all, and then it sits in a container. So that's part of too about this journal, is I've been trying to go through and look at some of that stuff that I've mass produced to see if there's anything that will match this journal that I'm working in. And I did pull one thing out that I think will match, or I can make match. So just so I can at least use some stuff I already have in my stash. That one had some air bubbles in it. So I don't think I have enough glue left to, or matte medium, to do another one. So we're just going to call this one good. I'm going to set it aside to let that dry. Like I said, a couple of these maybe will end up back in the journal at the end. We'll see. But it's always good to use up if you have a certain product sitting on your desk that, you know, now I don't feel like I've wasted the glue. So, yeah, I don't know why this one just doesn't want to attach. There's that big air bubble, maybe because there's not enough glue underneath it. Try that again. There, that's better. And I suppose I could have used a little bit of this paper. I still have just a little bit left. Maybe let's find something in my actual journal here. Let's see if we can find another page without this one still kind of drying. Well, it's pretty dry. Not to where I would close the journal too much on it, but maybe we could just... We'll just take the other side of that paper. I just pulled out the middle, my middle of the signature one, and let's just... We can kind of do the same thing as we did over here. I'll just glue that one down. I think I have enough glue left to do that. Just adds a little interest to the page. What's nice when you do this technique too is while you're adding interest to the page, you're not actually adding too much bulk, because this tissue paper is pretty thin. And you could do the same kind of technique also with napkins, if you want to glue down a partial napkin on a page. Like I said, it just adds a little interest. I'm gonna just turn the camera off for a minute to go wash my brush, and I will be back, and we can maybe work on maybe one or two more things here. So I'll be back shortly. So I'm back to do a little bit more in the journal, and these are still kind of drying, so I really don't want to close anything up. I had something picked out to work on this envelope back here, which I could pull that out. But I know just a few minutes ago we were talking about mass producing things, and I remembered that I had created these. They were bag toppers or page toppers. I made them quite a while ago on my YouTube channel for a craft with me type thing. And a lot of them I did decorate with like little bits and pieces left over in my stash. And then you can either put them on a top of a page or a side of a page and use them as a tuck spot. And so I was thinking I could add one in here. And I'm just trying to see if I add it to this page right here. Yeah, I think that would make the most sense. I mean, that would look kind of nice when that's closed. And, you know, you can still take it off to journal on underneath, but then you can still have it as a tuck spot. So, so I'm going to add that up here. I'm going to set this aside for right now. Or just move it a little ways off of my desk. And then, if I remember, I'll try to link that video. It was like kind of a two-part series. I did the bag toppers or the page toppers, and then I also decorated the bags like a month or two later. But basically you just took music paper and you tore it out. These are cupcake liners, the little brown parts, craft color, and then I put a doily on top. Some of them I actually added like lace and stuff. Also, I had some lace trim that I added, but this one I didn't do that to it. So I pulled a couple things from my stash. I'm thinking for the paper clip, I have this clip right here. So I'll use that to clip it on the top of the page. I think that'll look nice. And maybe I'll stick it there. And then, so you can decorate both sides because this will be on the back side. I, again, just grab some random things from my stash. It seems like I've been going with like a lot of blacks and cream colors and some laces in here. So I kind of been sticking with that when I've been pulling stuff out of my stash. But these were cut out from like some graphic 45 paper. Just an ephemera piece. So I'm thinking, again, I'm just trying to use up stuff. And that was from the same paper pad. I don't know what paper pad it was from. That's just like some numbers. But I was just thinking I could maybe just layer those on here somehow. And then I pulled out, I had some tea-dyed bridal lace. And then this is just some random, something that came off of something I took apart. But I liked the texture of it, so I kept it. And so I was just thinking I could just add that on here, just, you know, as a little topper. You know, you could still put this in the middle, or I'm just trying to decide if it looks better in a particular spot. I just want to make sure I don't have glue, because there's only so, this doesn't have a lot of room to add too much bulk to it once you add the page on there too. So I think it looks nice maybe on that side, because then it's kind of opposite that. So let's just run with that. And I'm going to ink the edges of these. You know, I don't know about you guys, but these, like I said, came from some sort of graphic 45 paper. And I know that it had like an old typewriter and it had a pen. I can't remember what collection it is. And maybe if I dug through my stuff, could figure it out, because I probably still have some sheets left of it. But sometimes when you see something on, you know, a scrapbooking page and you like just the one image, you cut it out. And then I think I cut everything else out on that piece of paper, thinking that eventually I would use it on something. So I have, you know, maybe half a dozen little ephemera pieces that I cut out from that. So it seems like it's working pretty good for this journal. Like I said, I don't really have a overall theme for the journal, but sometimes when you start working on it, things kind of present themselves. And so I kind of feel like I've been doing lots of black and whites and creams and a little bit of gray in here. So that's why I kind of chose these. It just seems like it's kind of nice. When I had turned off the camera to go wash the brush and my hands and get a drink of water and stuff, my husband actually was in here right as I was turning the camera off. He stopped in to tell me that he was running to town. I guess he had some issues with his ice auger, so he was running to town to pick up a part or something. So he's not out on the ice anymore fishing. I have to decide, it's getting close to lunchtime for me if I want to go in and eat or not. He told me that he already ate, so he sometimes gets hungrier before me. So if we're just having leftovers, he sometimes decides to eat early. So I'll have to decide if I'm hungry enough or if I just want to keep on crafting, since I know that he's not waiting for me to run up to the cabin to eat with him. So I kind of like that. And I wanted to put something on the back side. And, you know, I found this little scrap that's kind of the same colors, but I didn't really have anything else to put with it yet. You know, I could maybe put like a flower or something, or an applique or something. I mean, that's kind of nature related. I could cut those flowers off, or this one. You know, unfortunately on this side, that's what you see on the back side of this from where the paper clip is. I could maybe glue something down on top of there. That actually kind of fits, doesn't it? Just to add a little interest, I could cut that part of the ruler. I might have other parts still floating around on my desk. Just trying to see what else I have. That's not quite the right color. But I think if I glue this down, maybe I'll put some eyelash trim behind it. And let's glue that up here. I'm thinking that I'll find a little flower applique or something by tomorrow to put on there. I just don't really have much sitting on my desk. I know where they are in my craft room. I just don't feel like going up and grabbing them. Just seeing what I have sitting here, if there's something I can add to it for a little bit of interest. I guess here's kind of some small little trims that have little flowers on them. Kind of like that. And then I can still put a little like flower applique or something there and then glue this down here. So let's do that. And then I think I'm going to call it good for today. And we'll pick up again tomorrow. All the stuff should be, that we glued earlier, should be dry. I'm going to use, I think, the glossy accents, if it'll come out again, to glue that ruler onto the back side of the paper clip. So it looks like my battery might be dying. So I will finish doing all of this stuff if it does cut off. And you guys are like, why does it randomly cut off? That's why. It looks like my battery's about ready to go. So maybe I'll just sign out right now and just wish you guys all a wonderful day and happy crafting. And I hope to see you back tomorrow to continue to work on this journal. I will have this finished, like I said, if it decides to cut out on us, that then you guys at least know what happens. I'll just kind of keep on working, I guess, until it cuts out. Might as well put this little piece down there too. Might as well use up all those scraps, right? This is some nice little vintage trim that I got, you know, in a little grab bag or something at the thrift store. I think it's still recording. Yep. So I don't know if you guys can kind of tell, I'm just I added glue around the edges, and then I twist my eyelash lace so that the majority of the spots that where all the little hair is on the eyelash lace kind of goes on the outside, just to give it a more fuller look. I do that quite a bit. If you've watched my channel before and watched me glue it on, that's kind of my main way of putting on eyelash lace. Sometimes I just, you know, crumble it up and glue it underneath, but I just like the way that looks. Adds a little bit of interest without adding too much bulk. So it does look like I'm going to get all this on camera before it wigs out on me. So other than trying to find a little flower or something to add there, I think that's good. So I'll show you guys this real quick. So that's what that side looks like, and that's what that side looks like. And again, it's a page topper for this page that we were working on. And then eventually we'll add some sort of ephemera underneath it, but we'll continue to work on it. So again, I just wanted to thank everybody so much for watching today, and until next time, have a wonderful day and happy crafting.